Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Har Har Bole Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Har Har Bole Namah Shivaya.
ॐ न कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन त्यागे नैके अमृतत्वमानशुः परेण नाकं निहितं गुहायां विभ्राजते यद्यतयो विशन्ति वेदान्तविज्ञानसुनिश्चितार्था सन्न्यासयोगाद्यतय शुद्धसत्त्वाः ते ब्रह्मलोके तु परान्तकाले परामृताः परिमुच्यन्ति सर्वे दह्रं विपापं परमेश्मभूतं यत्पुण्डरीकं पुरमध्यस्सगस्थं तत्रापि दह्रं गगनं विशोकस्तस्मिन् यदन्तस्तदुपासितव्यं यो वेदादौ स्वरप्रोक्तो वेदान्ते च प्रतिष्ठितः तस्य प्रकृतिलीनस्य यः परः स महेश्वरः न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चन्द्रतारकं नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयमग्निः तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति।
आरति श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की दिव्य रूप मूर्ति करुणा की। आरति सद्गुरु की, आरति सद्गुरु की, आरती सद्गुरु की।
We stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. We serve as an army, courageous and disciplined, ever ready to fight against all low tendencies and false values, within and without us. We live honestly, the noble life of sacrifice and service, producing more than what we consume, and giving more than what we take. We seek the Lord's grace to keep us on the path of virtue, courage, and wisdom. May thy grace and blessings flow through us to the world around us. We believe that the service of our country is the service of the Lord of Lords, and devotion to the people is the devotion to the Supreme Self. We know our responsibilities. Give us the ability and courage to fulfill them. Om Tat Sat.
ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। 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 ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः।
Hari Om. As announced before, the
Hari Om. Prarthana Piyush, page 67. Shantakaram bhujagashayanam padmanabham suresham vishwadharam gaganasadrusham meghavarnam shubhangam Lakshmikantam Kamala Nayanam योगिभिर्ध्यानगम्यम् वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरम् सर्वलोकैकनाथम्। ॐ विश्वं विष्णुर्वषट्कारः भूतभव्यभवत्प्रभुः भूतकृद्भूतभृद्भावः भूतात्मा भूतभावनः भूतात्मा परमात्मा च मुक्तानां परमागतिः अव्ययपुरुषः साक्षी क्षेत्रज्ञोऽक्षर एव च योगो योगविदां नेता प्रधानपुरुषेश्वरः नारसिंहवपुः श्रीमान् केशवः पुरुषोत्तमः सर्वशर्वशिवस्थाणुः भूतादिर्निधिरव्ययः सम्भवो भावनो भर्ता प्रभवः प्रभुरीश्वरः स्वयंभुः शम्भुरादित्यः पुष्कराक्षो महास्वनः अनादिनिधनो धाता विधाता धातुरुत्तमः अप्रमेयो हृषीकेशः पद्मनाभोऽमरप्रभुः विश्वकर्मा मनुस्त्वष्टा स्थविष्ठस्थविरो ध्रुवः अग्राह्यः शाश्वतः कृष्णः लोहिताक्षप्रतर्दनः प्रभूतस्त्रिककुब्धाम पवित्रं मङ्गलं परम् ईशानः प्राणदः प्राणः ज्येष्ठः श्रेष्ठः प्रजापतिः हिरण्यगर्भो भूगर्भः माधवो मधुसूदनः ईश्वरो विक्रमी धन्वी मेधावी विक्रमक्रमः अनुत्तमो दुराधर्षः कृतज्ञकृतिरात्मवान् सुरेशः शरणं शर्मा विश्वरेता प्रजाभवः अहः संवत्सरो व्यालः प्रत्ययः सर्वदर्शनः अजः सर्वेश्वरः सिद्धः सिद्धिः सर्वादिरच्युतः वृषा कपिरमेयात्मा सर्वयोगविनिसृतः वसुर्वसुमनः सत्यः समात्मा सम्मितः समः अमोघः पुण्डरीकाक्षः वृषकर्मा वृषाकृतिः रुद्रो बहुशिरा बभ्रुः विश्वयोनिःशुचिश्रवाः अमृतः शाश्वतस्थाणुः वरारोहो महातपाः सर्वगः सर्वविद्भानुः विश्वक्सेनो जनार्दनः वेदो वेदविदव्यङ्गः वेदाङ्गो वेदवित्कविः लोकाध्यक्षः सुराध्यक्षः धर्माध्यक्षः कृताकृतः चतुरात्मा चतुर्व्यूहः चतुर्दंष्ट्रश्चतुर्भुजः भ्राजिष्णुर्भोजनं भोक्ता सहिष्णुर्जगदादिजः अनघो विजयो जेता विश्वयोनिः पुनर्वसुः उपेन्द्रो वामनः प्रांशुः अमोघः शुचिरूर्जितः अतीन्द्रः सङ्ग्रहः सर्गः धृतात्मा नियमो यमः वेद्यो वैद्यः सदा योगी वीरः माधवो मधुः अतीन्द्रियो महामायः महोत्साहो महाबलः महाबुद्धिर्महावीर्यः महाशक्तिर्महाद्युतिः अनिर्देश्य वपुः श्रीमान् अमेयात्मा महाद्रिधृक् महेश्वासो महीभर्ता श्रीनिवासः सतां गतिः अनिरुद्धः सुरानन्दः गोविन्दो गोविदाम्पतिः मरीचिर्दमनो हंसः सुपर्णो भुजगोत्तमः हिरण्यनाभः सुतपाः पद्मनाभः प्रजापतिः अमृत्युः सर्वदृक्सिंहः सन्धाता सन्धिमान् स्थिरः अजो दुर्मर्षणः शास्ता विश्रुतात्मा सुरारिः गुरुर्गुरुतमो धाम सत्यः सत्यपराक्रमः निमिषो निमिषस्रग्वी वाचस्पतिरुदारधीः अग्रणीर्ग्रामणि श्रीमान् न्यायो नेता समीरणः सहस्रमूर्धा विश्वात्मा सहस्राक्षः सहस्रपात् आवर्तनो निवृत्तात्मा संवृतः संप्रमर्दनः अहः संवर्तको वह्निः अनिलो धरणीधरः सुप्रसाद प्रसन्नात्मा विश्वभुग्विभुः सत्कर्ता सत्कृतः साधुः जह्नुर्नारायणो नरः असंख्येयो प्रमेयात्मा विशिष्टः शिष्टकृच्छुचिः सिद्धार्थः सिद्धसङ्कल्पः सिद्धिदः सिद्धिसाधनः
वृषाहि वृषभो विष्णुः वृषपर्वा वृषोदरः वर्धनो वर्धमानश्च विविक्तश्रुतिसागरः सुभुजधरो वाग्मी इन्द्रो वसुदो वसुः नैरूपो बृहत् रूपः शिवः प्रकाशनः ओजस्तेजोद्युतिधरः प्रकाशात्मा प्रतापनः रुद्धस्पष्टाक्षरो मन्त्रः चन्द्रांशुर्भास्करद्युतिः अमृतांशुद्भवो भानुः शशबिन्दुः सुरेश्वरः औषधं जगतः सेतुः सत्यधर्मपराक्रमः भूतभव्यभवन्नाथः पवनः पावनो नलः कामः कामकृत्कान्तः कामः कामप्रदः प्रभुः युगादिकृत् युगावर्तः नैकमायो महाशनः अदृशो व्यक्तरूपश्च सहस्रजिदनं तजेत् इष्टो विशिष्टशिष्टेष्टः शिखण्डी नहुषो वृषः क्रोधः क्रोधकृत्कर्ता विश्वबाहुर्महीधरः अच्युत प्रथित प्राणः प्राणदो वासवानुजः अपां निदरधिष्ठानम् अप्रमत्त प्रतिष्ठितः स्कन्दः स्कन्दधरो धुर्यः वरदो वायुवाहनः वासुदेवो बृहद्भानुः आदिदेवः पुरन्दरः अशोकस्तारणस्तारः शूरः शौर्यर्जनेश्वरः अनुकूलः शतावर्तः पद्मी पद्मनिभेक्षणः पद्मनाभोरविन्दाक्षः पद्मगर्भः शरीरभृत् महर्दिरुद्धो वृद्धात्मा महाक्षो गरुडध्वजः अतुलः शरभो भीमः समयज्ञो हविर्हरिः सर्वलक्षणलक्षण्यः लक्ष्मीवान् स्मृतिञ्जयः विक्षरो हेतुर्दामोदरः सहः महीधरो महाभागः वेगवानमिताशनः उद्भवक्षोभणो देवः श्रीगर्भः परमेश्वरः कारणं कारणं कर्ता विकर्ता गहनो गुहः व्यवसायो व्यवस्थानः संस्थानस्थानदो ध्रुवः परर्धिः परमस्पष्टः तुष्टः पुष्टः सुभेक्षणः रामो विरजः मार्गो नेयो नयो नयः वीरः शक्तिमतां श्रेष्ठः धर्मो धर्मविदुत्तमः वैकुण्ठः पुरुषः प्राणः प्राणद प्रणव पृथुः हिरण्यगर्भः शत्रुघ्नः व्याप्तो वायुरधोक्षजः ऋतुः सुदर्शनः कालः परमेष्ठी परिग्रहः उग्रः संवत्सरो दक्षः विक्रामो विश्वदक्षिणः विस्तारस्थाणुः प्रमाणं बीजमव्ययम् अर्थोऽनर्थो महाकोशः महाभोगो महाधनः अनिर्विन्नस्तविष्ठो भूः धर्मयूपो महामखः नक्षत्रमे निर्नक्षत्री क्षमक्षामः समीहनः यज्ञ इज्जो महेज्यश्च कृत्रं सतां गतिः सर्वदर्शी विमात्मा सर्वज्ञो ज्ञानमुत्तमम् सुव्रतः सुमुखः सूक्ष्मः सुघोषः सुखदः सुहृत् मनोहरो क्रोधः वीरबाहुर्विदारणः स्वापनः स्ववशो व्यापी नैकात्मा नैककर्मकृत् वत्सरो वत्सलो वत्सी रत्नगर्भो धनेश्वरः धर्मकृद्धर्मी सदसत्क्षरमक्षरम् अविज्ञाता सहस्रांशुः विधाता कृतलक्षणः गभस्तिनेभिः सत्त्वस्थः सिंहो भूतमहेश्वरः आदिदेवो महादेवः देवेशो देवभृद्गुरुः उत्तरो गोपतिर्गोप्ता ज्ञानगम्य पुरातनः शरीरभूतभृद्भोक्ता कपीन्द्रो भूरि दक्षिणः सोमपो मृतपः सोमः पुरुजित् पुरुसत्तमः विनयो जय सत्यसन्धः दाशार्हः सात्वतां पतिः
जीवो विनयिता साक्षी मुकुन्दोमित विक्रमः अम्भो निधिरनन्तात्मा महोदधिशयोऽन्तकः अजो महार्ह स्वाभाव्यः चितामित्र प्रमोदनः आनन्दो नन्दनो नन्दः सत्यधर्मा त्रिविक्रमः महर्षि कपिलाचार्यः कृतज्ञो मेदिनीपतिः त्रिदशाध्यक्षः महाशृङ्गकृतान्तकृत् महावराहो गोविन्दः सुषेणः कनकाङ्गदी गुह्यो गभीरो गहनः गुप्तश्चक्रगदाधरः वेधास्वाङ्गोजितकृष्णः दृढः सङ्कर्षणोच्युतः वरुणो वारुणो वृक्षः पुष्कराक्षो महामनाः भगवान् भगः नन्दी वनमाली हलायुधः आदित्यो ज्योतिरादित्यः सहिष्णुर्गतिसत्तमः सुधन्वाखण्डपरशुः दारुणो द्रविणप्रदः दिवसप्रदिवसव्यासः वाचस्पतिरयो निजः त्रिसामासामगः साम निर्वाणं भेषजं भिषक् सन्न्यासकृच्छमः शान्तः निष्ठा शान्तिपरायणं शुभाङ्गः शान्तिदस्रष्टा कुमुदः कुवलेशयः गोहितो गोपतिर्गोप्ता वृषभाक्षो वृषप्रियः अनिवर्ती निवृत्तात्मा संक्षेप्ता क्षेमकृच्छिवः श्रीवत्सवक्षा श्रीवासः श्रीपति श्रीमतांवरः श्रीधश्रीश श्रीनिवासः श्रीनिधि श्रीविभावनः श्रीधर श्रीकर श्रेयः श्रीमान् लोकत्रयाश्रयः स्वक्षस्वङ्गशतानन्दः नन्दिर्ज्योतिर्गणेश्वरः विजितात्मा विधेयात्मा सत्कीर्तिश्छिन्न संशयः उदीर्णः सर्वतश्चक्षुः अनीशः शाश्वतस्थिरः भूषयो भूषणो भूतिः विशोकः शोकनाशनः अर्चिष्मानर्चितः कुम्भः विशुद्धात्मा विशोधनः अनिरुद्धो प्रतिरथः प्रद्युम्नोमितविक्रमः कालनेमिनिहा वीरः शौरिशूरर्गणेश्वरः त्रिलोकात्मा त्रिलोकेशः केशव केशिहा हरिः कामदेव कामपालः कामी कान्तकृतागमः अनिर्देशवपुर्विष्णुः वीरोऽनन्तो धनञ्जयः ब्रह्मण्यो ब्रह्मकृद् ब्रह्मा ब्रह्म ब्रह्म विवर्धनः ब्रह्मविद् ब्राह्मणो ब्रह्मी ब्रह्मज्ञो ब्राह्मणप्रियः महाक्रमो महाकर्मा महातेजा महोरगः महाक्रतुर्महायज्वा महायज्ञो महाहविः स्तव्यस्तव प्रियस्तोत्रम् स्तुतिस्तोतारणप्रियः पूर्णपूरयिता पुण्यः पुण्यकीर्तिनामयः मनोजवस्तीर्थकरः वसुरेता वसुप्रदः वसुप्रदो वासुदेवः वसुर्वसुमनाहविः सद्गति सत्कृति सत्ता सद्भूति सत्परायणः शूरसेनो यदुश्रेष्ठः सन्निवासः सुयामुनः भूता वासो वासुदेवः सर्वासु निलयो नलः दर्पः दर्पदो दृप्तः दुर्धरोत्थापराजितः विश्वमूर्तिर्महामूर्तिः दीप्तमूर्तिरमूर्तिमान् अनेकमूर्तिरव्यक्तः शतमूर्तिश्शताननः एको नैकः स वक् किं यत्तत्पदमनुत्तमम् लोकबन्धुर्लोकनाथः माधवो भक्तवत्सलः सुवर्णवर्णो हेमाङ्गः वराङ्गश्चन्दनाङ्गदी वीरः विषमशून्यः कृताशीरचलश्चलः अमानी मानदो मान्यः लोकस्वामी त्रिलोकधृक् सुमेधा मेधजो धन्यः सत्यमेधाधराधरः तेजो विषयोद्युतिधरः शर्वशस्त्रभृताम्बरः प्रग्रहो निग्रहो व्यग्रः नैकशृङ्गो गदाग्रजः चतुर्मूर्तिश्चतुर्बाहुः चतुर्व्यूहश्चतुर्गतिः चतुरात्मा चतुर्भावः चतुर्वेदविदेकपात्
समवर्तो निवृत्तात्मा दुर्जयो दुरतिक्रमः दुर्लभो दुर्गमो दुर्गः दुरावासो दुरारिः शुभांगो लोकसारंगः सुतन्तुस्तन्तुवर्धनः इन्द्रकर्मा महाकर्मा कृतकर्मा कृतागमः उद्भवः सुन्दरः सुन्दरः रत्ननाभः सुलोचनः अर्को वाजसनः शृङ्गी जयन्तः सर्वविजयी सुवर्णबिन्दुरक्षोभ्यः सर्ववागीश्वरेश्वरः महाहृदो महागर्तः महाभूतो महानिधिः कुमुदः कुन्दरः कुन्दः पर्जन्यः पावनो निलः अमृताशोऽमृतवपुः सर्वज्ञः सर्वतोमुखः सुलभः सुव्रतः सिद्धः शत्रुजिच्छत्रुतापनः न्यग्रोधोदुम्बरोऽश्वत्थः चाणूरान्द्रनिषूदनः सहस्रार्चिः सप्तजिह्वः सप्तैधाः सप्तवाहनः अमूर्तिरनघोचिन्त्यः भयकृद्भयनाशनः अणुर्बृहत्कृशस्थूलः गुणभृन्निर्गुणो महान् अधृतस्वधृतस्वास्यः प्राग्वंशो वंशवर्धनः भारभृत्कथितो योगी योगीशः सर्वकामदः आश्रमश्रमणक्षामः सुपर्णो वायुवाहनः धनुर्धरो धनुर्वेदः दण्डो दमयितादमः अपराजितः सर्वसः नियन्ता नियमो यमः सत्त्ववान् सात्विकः सत्यः सत्यधर्मपरायणः अभिप्रायप्रियार्होर्हः प्रियकृत्प्रीतिवर्धनः विहाय सगतिर्ज्योतिः सुरुचिर्हुतभुग्विभुः रविर्विरोचनः सूर्यः सविता रविलोचनः अनन्तो हुतभुग्भोक्ता सुखदो नैकजोग्रजः अनिर्विण्णः सदा महर्षि लोकाधिष्ठानमद्भुतः सनातनतमः कपिलः कपिरप्ययः स्वस्ति स्वस्ति कृत् स्वस्ति स्वस्ति भुक् स्वस्ति दक्षिणः अरौद्रः कुण्डली चक्री विक्रम्यूर्जित शासनः शब्दातिगः शब्दसः शिशिरः शर्वरीकरः अक्रूरप्तेशलो दक्षः दक्षिणक्षमिणाम्बरः विद्वत्तमो वीतभयः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः उत्तारणो दुष्कृतिः पुण्यो दुःस्वप्ननाशनः वीरः रक्षणः सन्तः जीवनपर्यवस्थितः अनन्तरूपोऽनन्तः श्रीः चितमन्युर्भयापहः चतुरस्रो गभीरात्मा विदिशो व्यादिशो दिशः अनादिर्भूर्भुवो लक्ष्मीः सुवीरो रुचिराङ्गदः जननो जनजन्मादिः भीमो भीमपराक्रमः आधारनिलयो दाता पुष्पहासप्रजागरः ऊर्ध्वगः सत्पथाचारः प्राणदः प्रणवप्पणः प्रमाणं प्राणनिलयः प्राणभृत् प्राणजीवनः तत्त्वं तत्त्वविदेकात्मा जन्म मृत्युजरातिगः भूर्भुवः स्वस्तरुस्तारः सविता प्रपितामहः यज्ञो यज्ञपतिर्यज्वा यज्ञाङ्गो यज्ञवाहनः यज्ञभृद्यज्ञकृद्यज्ञि यज्ञभुग्यज्ञसाधनः यज्ञान्तकृद्यज्ञगुह्यम् अन्नमन्नाद एव च आत्मयोनिः स्वयं जातः वैखानः सामगायनः देवकीनन्दनः स्रष्टा क्षितीशः पापनाशनः शङ्खभृन्नन्दकी चक्री शाङ्गधन्वा गदाधरः तथाङ्गपाणिरक्षोभ्यः सर्वप्रहरणायुधः श्री सर्वप्रहरणायुधः ॐ नम इति।
हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। Please repeat after me. कर्तुराज्ञया प्राप्यते फलम्। कर्तुराज्ञया प्राप्यते फलम्। कर्म किं परं कर्म तज्जडम्। कर्म किं परं कर्म तज्जडम्। कर्तुराज्ञया प्राप्यते फलम्। कर्म किं परं कर्म तज्जडम्। कर्म किं परं कर्म तज्जडम्. So last time we saw that everything in nature wants to go back to its original state, and the example we saw was iron oxide. However much you refine, the iron wants to go back to iron oxide. The scriptures tell you and me that, oh man, your nature, your swabhava, just like the iron naturally occurs as iron oxide, your swabhava, your nature, true nature is Sat, eternal, Chit, pure knowledge, Ananda, happiness, joy. That is your swabhava, that is your nature. And your experience, my experience, is contrary to it. And we make effort to change the world around us, circumstances, so that we can experience the Sat, we can get to know everything, and we can be happy. And this is what those ascetics were doing. They were doing yajna so that they would get result of the yajna, they would get power, and they can be happy. But they had to keep doing it because they could not be continuously happy. And this is where Bhagwan Shiva manifested himself and gave the Upadesha, which Raman Maharshi has this Upadesh Sara. And the very first sloka we saw was Kartuhu Agnaya Prapyate Phalam Karma Kim Param Karma Tajjaram. Everybody generally feels, and to a certain extent it is true, right? We tell our children, work hard if you want to succeed in life. It is natural. But the results are not always in our hand. Right? Three things are required for any action. Karta, the doer. The karana, the instrument with which you act, and the very kriya, the very action. These three are required, and then the result will come. The farmer, the doer. The plow or the tractor, the instrument. Right? And the very plowing is the kriya. But the result doesn't depend on these three alone. The rain has to come at an appropriate time, in the right amount, sunshine also in the right amount. Then only the crops will come. That is not in the hand of the farmer. Similarly, you and I, Gaurang uncle really wanted live pravachans at Chinmaya Smriti beginning 16th of January, last Sunday. Most of you know I'm a people person. And anybody, I don't care who it is, when you give discourse and there are people in front of you, you can look into their eyes, their response, it brings the very best out of the speaker. At least it does bring best out of me. But Karta is there, right? Many of you had called me and said, Uncle, for sure, we are coming. We were going to limit it to 100, and I think 50 or 60 had told me they are coming. So Karta, the audience, everything is that. But the third factor, Narayan, Bhagwan, right? Man proposes, God, he not always disposes, but it is totally in his hand. So we understood that we all act with a desire, but the natural laws, it is not that Bhagwan decides that, look, I am going to give this batsman a sixer, but not the bowler a chance, etc. But the natural laws are set up whereby the bowler is going to throw the ball in a certain manner. The pitch is such that his bowling will be enhanced or not so enhanced, but actually reduced. The same with the batsman, the fielder. So all these factors, the laws are set up and the result comes according to the laws set up by Narayan. Now, there are some among us who do not believe in Bhagwan. I act like those people. Now, friends, let us look at this very same thing from a slightly different angle. Right? One thing for sure, that when a karta does something, when a kumbhar meaning a pot maker, when he decides to make a pot or different pots, 5 different, 10 different pots, some with a narrow neck, some with a larger neck, all these things. The kumbhar, the karta, the doer, must have a knowledge of what he wants to create. He knows that he wants to create 3 pots of this shape, 3 of this, and how to make it using the instrument. And he also needs the raw material. Otherwise, he cannot do it. So karta is required, karan is, but the karta has to be sentient or not. Can a dead kumbhar, can a dead pot maker make a pot? He has to be a conscious being. He must have a knowledge of what he wants to make and the ability to make it. Are you all with me? None of us can deny this. Now think of it. When you were born, and everybody in the audience I know was born after 1922, right? Meaning nobody is listening to me who is 100 years old. You are all younger than 100, and so am I. And the day we came into this world, was the world already there or not? I did nothing, so I was not the karta, the doer of the world around me, isn't it? My parents were already there. I did not create them. So the building in which from the hospital I came home, or if you were born at home, the home was already there. In other words, when I came into this world, The world was already there. Not only that, my hands, my legs, my ears, my eyes, my pancreas, every part of my body for which I did nothing. When I came out crying, everything started functioning. So one thing for sure, I was not the karta of that little body. Right? Now tell me, the world that is already there, if a pot maker has to be conscious being, he must have the knowledge of the pot that he wants to make and how to make it. Do you not think that when I came into the world, when you came into the world, the earth, the moon, the sun, everything going on around, there has got to be somebody, a sentient being, not just somebody. You know, scientists are always looking for that some inert matter from which everything came. Remember, there has got to be, even to make a pot, I need to be sentient, conscious. There has got to be a conscious entity that is responsible for making all this. Think. If that is true, now, when I do something, right, I am able to give discourses in Hinduism on certain scriptures only. I don't have the knowledge of entire Veda. That is called alpagnya, limited knowledge. As I told you last time, some of I have many friends who worked at Boeing, and many of them have knowledge only of the gear or this particular wing, and that's all for 35 years. Meaning we all have limited knowledge, otherwise called alpagnya. Alpa meaning limited. Right? I have knowledge which is limited. Right now, I am physically limited to this chair, right? I am certainly not all pervading, right? So I'm in one place. I have limited power. I have limited knowledge. But the one who created this entire universe, right? The telescope that was just sent 2 weeks ago, and which it's going to explore, somebody created that 200 million years ago or whenever, which they are going to capture. Who created that? If ordinary pot needs a pot maker, do you not think that a creator is necessary for this entire creation? You and I may not see him physically, but he has given us buddhi that for me to give this talk, I need karana, the instrument, etc., knowledge, etc., limited, but I need it. So the one who is responsible to create the entire universe, right? All waves are created by ocean. How far away is the ocean from the wave? He is in and through the wave. Similarly, I am physically limited, but the creator who is sentient, he is sarvavyapi, he is all pervading. He created everything, so he is all knowing. Remember, I am alpagnya, limited knowledge. He is omniscient. My power is very limited, right? All I can tell you is and request you that when I chant, please chant. When Vishnu Sahasranam is going on, chant. But some of you get up, some of you answer telephone, etc. I can't help it. Think of it. But the Lord who is totally powerful, remember, he is omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. Every religion accepts this. Why and how is it? Think of it. That NASA, which we have come to know only in the last 50, 80 years, right? But they are able to precisely say that we will release the spaceship at this day, at this time, and it will reach Saturn, so many million, I don't know how far, but so far away, precisely at this place, at this time, and all these things, is because they can determine in the natural laws set up by the creator, they always function. If it was left to you and I, then well, today, but the earth always rotates at the same speed, And if it gets little slow, I think by 2 seconds a year or something, but it is continuously and it is predictable. And don't think that NASA has figured it out. Panchang, many of you who are born and raised in India have heard the word Panchang. Right? The eclipse, even in 2050, 2550, what eclipses are going to be there? People who make Panchang can figure out. Why? Because the natural laws, the creator has created, whereby they know the movement of the sun, movement of the earth, everything is fixed and it functions according to law. I'm not making it up, you and I know this. We all have apps in our telephone that says sunrise at 7:15 or 7:17. Right? Sunset at 5:46 or something nowadays. How are they able to predict this? The lawgiver is sentient, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. Now, how can an intelligent person refute the presence of Bhagwan? Call him Om, call him Allah, call him Father in heaven. You have to accept a sentient being, please understand, not an inert being, who is responsible for all this. And he is the what? Kartuhu Agnaya Phalam Prapyate. I get fruits. Of course, most of it is within my control, please understand. I can leave 20 minutes prior to the time we meet in Chinmaya Mission when we used to, and I know that I will be there in time. But there could be an accident and the police can block the entire road and I can be delayed, which is not under my hand. Kartuhu Agnaya Prapyate Phalam. Yet this ascetic who did not know much, and Bhagavan is saying, and to a great extent, you and I, what do we think? I did it right. Jaya said she got few people telling her that uncle gave good pravachan and they liked it. See, this ahankar, I did it. I am going to plan and I'm going to do this. How many of us have always been happy? Always been able, because if it was in my hand, right? 500 people will be logging in, 1,000 people will be logging in. None of us can do that. So now Bhagwan explains, yes, you and I can do karma, we can get result, and sometime to my liking, sometime not to my liking. But one thing, my nature is Satchitananda, and I keep doing actions so that I can eke out some joy, some happiness from the world. And to that Bhagwan addresses, right? Because thought comes to mind, right? If action gives me results that I like and I can be happy, I will continue doing action. What is wrong? So Bhagwan says, and I urge you to repeat after me, okay? Kruti mahodadau patana karanam. Kruti mahodadau patana karanam. Phalam shashvatam gati nirodhakam. Phalam shashvatam gati nirodhakam. Kruti mahodadau patana karanam. Kruti mahodadau patana karanam. Phalam shashvatam gati nirodhakam. Phalam shashvatam gati nirodhakam. Karturagnaya prapyate phalam. Karma kim param karma tajjadam. Remember my goal. By 30th verse, the following day or that week when you are shampooing your head, I want you to be naturally repeating Karturagnaya prapyate phalam. Not because I'm telling, but it comes from within. Okay. Now Bhagwan says, Kruti mahat udhav patana karanam. Phalam shashvatam gati nirodhakam. Literal translation, Kruti mahodadav. ocean of karma. In other words, from morning you get up till night, you go and do it. And there are many among us, right? What is one complaint we always get, right? I don't have enough money in America, right? No matter how much you have in 401k, IRA, I don't have enough money and I don't have enough time. And one thing I have more of, weight. Most people will, they may not admit it, okay? Some of you are saying no, may not admit it, but excessive weight. But I don't have time, right? Meaning what? From morning till evening, I'm doing one or other thing and I'm looking forward to the result. No human being can undertake any activity without desiring some fruit that this will come and I will enjoy. That is human. So Bhagavan says, Kruti Mahodato. Right? Ocean is so deep, so vast. He says, you can do actions like the ocean. Kruti Mahodato, Patana Karanam. But he says, look, you will fall into the trap of karma. We'll come to it. Okay? Then he says, and the result that you and I will get is what? Phalam ashashvatam. Ashashvatam, impermanent. See the word fruit, phala meaning fruit. Right? Karma, action, and action's a result. Now, action and result are English word, and every language has its great things and not so great things. But in Sanskrit, karma and phala are such beautiful words. So I know even those of you who are born and raised here, not very familiar, but you have heard karma enough times. Now, karma is also a vocabulary in American English. But the phala is not. Phala meaning fruit. Now think of it. Why karma, phala, and not result? Right? All of you here in Chinmaya Mission, Houston, or in America, we are all familiar with Costco. A nice big store, and many of us are members of it. Those of us whose children have already gone to college, and we are member of Costco, and when we go to Costco, and a couple of things that normally I buy, so I can give example, organic bananas, and I like, what is called that green Mexican thing? I forget. Avocado. Now I bring avocado. Darsna auntie loves neither of the two. But you only get 6 avocados. So I try and look the ones that are the greenest, not even mushy at all. And I bring it home. So first 2 days, cannot even touch it because they are not. Then they start ripening. Right? The bananas start getting yellow. The third day, there are some spots on it, little black. So I start eating. But now in a bunch, there comes 8 bananas. The avocados start ripening and they are so big, you can eat half. So I can say, auntie, that's not eat it. No, I don't want to eat it. So by the time the third avocado is being used, and I look at the 4th avocado and miser as I am with my money and Chinmaya Mission money, what happens? I scoop out every little thing that is good and eat and reject because the rest of it kya hota hai? The very word phalam, meaning that which decays, is called phalam. Fruit doesn't give that, fruit, but phala, the Sanskrit phala, that the Sanskrit definition of phala itself is that which decays over a period of time is called phala. So now let us leave the avocado and banana and drop it. But it does not last forever, isn't it? Similarly, Bhagavan says that the action you and I do, unfortunately, the result of the action does not last forever. Number one, it starts at a given time and it ends at a given time. So it is finite. So it can only give finite result. What do you mean by finite result? Let us say this is pre-COVID, okay? Before COVID, when life was normal. And it is Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon around 3 o'clock and your telephone rings. What are you doing this evening? Well, nothing is planned. How about going to dinner? Okay, where shall we go? Well, this friend of mine told me that this new Chinese restaurant here on Westheimer is really good. Let us go there. And you agree and say, let us call one more couple. So if there are 6 of us, we can order enough for dishes. And that thing goes round and round and everybody can try out different things. Right? So you have planned this at 3 p.m. 2 couples have planned. Another one will call one more and you meet there at 7:30 p.m. Right? So your action begins at 3:30, real action starts at 7. And at 7:30, you all meet in the restaurant. Then, hi, how are you? The girl comes, gives you the thing, and you look at it, you ask your friend who said, and he says, look, my friend who told me about this recommended, tuck, 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 tuck. Thus you decide that, look, let us order 4 dishes. And then if we are hungry, we'll order 2 more. Now the whole thing by 8:45, you have eaten and you have thoroughly enjoyed and so, oh, this was really good. We should do it again. And you get in your car and you come home. That which began at 7 p.m., 7:30 you entered, ordered, finished by 9:15. The karma is over, right? Karta was doer, you and your friends. The very action, you drove the car, you went there, you ordered, you ate. Act is over. Right? And you enjoyed the result. And it is over. But one thing which you and I don't remember is what? The impression left behind in my mind and intellect of that Chinese dinner in the presence of good company, does that stay after the act is over or not? Please think. The act is always limited, but the result of action, the impression that is left behind in mind and intellect, can you all see it? Yeah. In mind and intellect, which is called the vasana, that remains. Now, it could be good, it could be bad, right? Out of 6 people, 5 says, this is so good. And one person's wife says, after sitting in the car, I don't care, everybody may say it is good. We are not coming back. Right? She didn't like it. This can happen. Everybody's tastes are different. Not it's right or wrong, but this can happen. So the impression in everyone's mind and intellect, otherwise called vasana, lingers on even after the act is over. And then what happens? Again, 2 or 3 weeks later, when again a suggestion comes, let's go out and eat. What happens? The same vasana manifests as a desire, causes agitation. Hey, what is your suggestion? Let us go to that Chinese restaurant. Haven't we done that? Every one of, not necessarily Chinese, Indian restaurant or anything, or visiting this friend or that friend, or if you are young and say, let us just go to, Westheimer Mall and move around, whatever it is. But every experience, please understand, at the body level, mental level, or intellectual level, with physical body, I perceive the world of objects. With mind, I feel the world of emotions. With intellect, I think the world of thoughts. So every experience at body, mind, and intellect level, interacting with object, emotions, and thoughts, every experience leaves behind an impression, otherwise called vasana. These vasanas, in another words, is called raga and dvesha. Raga, I like it, I want to repeat it. Ahankar, I want. I never want to go there again. If they call, just say no. Again, ahankar. This ahankar, kruti mahodadav, patana karanam, phalama shashvatam, gati nirodhakam. He says, you and I go on chasing, trying to arrange my world around me, the object, emotions, and thoughts, in a manner whereby I can always eke out some happiness continuously, which does not always happen. So what do you and I do? We go on doing action after action after action. Now, please understand, every time an experience takes place and when it leaves behind an impression and the vasana is created, raga or dvesha, when it manifests, right? What does it do? As a desire causes agitations. When my mind and intellect is agitated, am I happy? Even a child, once he has a desire, the child, his mind and a desire comes, what? He wants to fulfill the desire. There is agitation. So he acts to fulfill. But as we saw, the result is limited. Phalama ashashvatam. The fruit always decays. It does not give me complete joy. I enjoy it. Like Chinese dinner, you enjoyed. 9 o'clock you came home, 10 o'clock you go to bed. Next morning, you don't say, yesterday I ate so well. Today I don't want to eat. What happens? Right? Most of it gets discarded in the morning and you are ready for breakfast, isn't it? Thus, one after other, action goes on continuing. So Bhagavan says here, Kruti Mahaduta, how in the middle of the ocean, when you cannot see any kinaro, what do you call, any seashore, there is no end to the ocean. It is infinite to my right, to my left, to north, south, east, west. And I hope somebody will come and rescue me. Similarly, this individual trapped by activity. Kruti Mahoda, Kartuhu Agnaya. He is the fal giver, karma adhyaksha and karma phaladata. I go on doing action, and he says, Phalamashashvatam. The fruit that you get is finite. It ends, impression remains, propelling you to do more and more action, as if you are in the middle of the ocean, and patana karanam, you can never come out of it. What is our nature? Please don't forget. Sat, Chit, Ananda. And what is our experience? I have to go on acting. Every now and then I'll be happy, and again I'm not happy. So Bhagavan says, Patanakara, you fall into this trap like those ascetic, doing one yaga after yaga after yaga, never come out of it for the rest of their life. Why? Phalamashashvatam gati nirodhakam. Gati, he says, it impedes you. It's like that speed breaker when we are driving. Gati nirodhakam. It comes between you and your desire, your swarupa, the knowledge and ananda that you are. Now think of it, friends. In the world when we act, right? I'm talking about in general for everyone. I want a particular result. And generally, all of us want what? Security. And we think security is money. So everybody wants money. And everybody wants joy. Now think of all the successful people that you know. Dharma guru, religious people, speakers, etc. Ball players, cricketers, football player, basketball player, doctors, politicians, etc. Now, how often have you heard such a very well-known football player, etc. But the NFL has decided to kick him out. Why? The speed breaker. What? He had everything going good, but started becoming arrogant, wanted more joy. Everybody thought he's so lucky, he's doing this, and number 77, whoever is so good. But he starts doing drugs, etc., starts beating his wife. Haven't we all heard that? A rich man with all the money that he can, but gets caught up in a scandal, affair with somebody, all this thing, and from the height, he comes down. Or an ordinary example, the student who is doing very well, goes to college but gets in the wrong company. Or even when he's in 6th grade, he's good at study, but instead of studying, he gets trapped by only enjoyment and playing ball. We all have seen and heard this, isn't it? Patanakar, whenever ahankar comes, and if we are not careful, the other things in the world will impede, come in the way. Gati nirodhakam. The ball player who could have kept playing ball and who would have gati, it comes in its way. Student who could have gotten 4.0, instead the joy or play or this or that comes in. Thus, Kruti Mahodada, fruit of action is limited. Not knowing this, and I want more and more. I shortcut, I compromise with the value. And this doesn't mean everybody. Remember, everyone has their own weakness where they compromise. A meditator may compromise with waking up at 7 instead of 5:30 because of something of watching TV too late, etc., and forgetting. So I'm not just talking about ball player. Every one of us. Kruti Mahodadau, Patana Karanam. We go on acting think of it. How many of us think when you join Chinmaya said, hey, this is really good. I am enjoying it. Few more years and then I'm going to give my service here on Karma Yoga, this, that, etc. And before you know it, now you are retired and still thinking, maybe in next life, if I'm come back and here, I will be a Balvihar child and really give my service. Everything that I did not do in this life, plus start doing it in next life because I failed to give. So Bhagavan says, Gati Nirodhakam. It comes now. The Gati means knowledge. Okay. Knowledge, right? Nothing. If the Chinese dinner that 6 of us went, 4 of them had no problem, they digest it out. And next morning, after the clear motion, they feel so good. All of us will feel very good when our stomach is light, isn't it? When the stomach is heavy, you don't feel very good. You don't feel like doing anything. You can't think much. But when the stomach is light, pet naram hota hai, right? Hindi mein, then it is sheer gar, like Vijayamanji used to say, sheer garam, pet naram, and sheer thanda, pet naram, and pav, feet, garam. Doctor ko maro danda, I don't know how he used to say it. Right? Then you don't need a doctor. Right? In the same way, when my mind and intellect is naram, pure, quiet, then only I can suspect that there must be a God, a sentient being behind all this, who has created this. And what is my relationship with him? I want to find out. Just as when my stomach is heavy, I neither should eat much, I can't think much. Similarly, for subtle thinking, my mind and intellect has to be relatively quiet. But if Kruti Mahodado, if I go on acting, and please don't forget, every action that you and I do at physical level, coming in contact with object, at mental level, feeling emotions, intellectual level, thinking thoughts, each one leaves behind his impression, meaning vasana. More the vasana, more the desire, more the agitation. So the mind, like the heavy stomach, when mind is heavy, agitated, you cannot think of more. What do I mean by think of more? Whenever I fulfill a desire, right, mind and intellect becomes quiet and I experience Narayan. Right? And scripture says that is your nature. I want to come in contact with my nature. But because of many vasanas, I am not able to. So how do I reduce these vasanas? The goal becomes very clear. My stomach has to be light. My mind and intellect also has to be pure. Oh, how do I do it? Because right now I only know act, get the result, act, get the result and be happy. But it creates more and more vasanas. So now Bhagavan gives a very beautiful sloka, and he explains, and if you listen to it carefully and understand, entire karma yoga, the beauty of Ramana Maharshi, in 3 sloka, entire essence of karma yoga he gives. So here he says, Ishwararpitam nechaya krutam, Ishwararpitam nechaya krutam, chitta shodakam mukti sadakam, chitta shodakam mukti sadakam, Ishwararpitam nechaya krutam, Ishwararpitam nechaya krutam, chitta shodakam Mukti Sadhakam. Chitta Shodhakam. Mukti Sadhakam. Karturajnaya prapyate phalam karma kim param karma tajjadam. So now Bhagavan says, there is only one way to escape. Gati is quiet mind and intellect and come to know what my nature is pure knowledge. But as long as mind and intellect is agitated, as long as there are dark clouds, I cannot see the sun. My nature is Satchitananda. I'm not able to experience. So how do I quieten my mind and intellect? He says, Ishwar arpitam na ichchaya krutam chitta shodhakam mukti sadhakam. Now see, whenever we talk about purifying the mind, young people, college going, etc., they always complain, right? That people, these religious people and dietitians, right? Dietitians always tell you what? Everything that we love to eat, dietitian says, don't. Everything I want to do, scripture says, don't. Right? But think of it. You ask our children nowadays, right? Some of them, if the parents are careless, they will tell parents, right? Now look, the regular garbage, you put it in this, but the recycle separately. Why? Hey, we must not pollute the air, right? Air must be purified. Water should be purified. Don't throw things in the water. Our rivers, our lakes, our ocean must be clean, right? And separate out the garbage so things can be recycled, so Mother Earth can also be pure. Anybody who is not ecologically aware in the last 20 years, air must be pure, right? Water must be pure, earth must be pure, mind must be impure. How many are worried about mind? Think of it. See, the gross is so easily understandable. The beauty of scriptures is, it's not saying don't help people physically, but helping physically versus helping someone at the emotional level is far greater. And helping somebody at the intellectual level is even greater. Young people are already, let us do this. This is Earth Day, this day, etc. But Mahashivratri, why do you need a Shiva Day? Earth Day, yes, we must have Earth Day. Think of it. Purification of mind is very important. So I can come to know my own nature, and all this running around of action after action after action, I can reduce. But how do you do it? He says, Ishwararpitam na ichchaya krutam chitta shodhakam mukti sadhakam. We will take one segment and then Ishvara Arpitam will take next. Na ichchaya krutam, he says. Right? You should not act according to your ichcha. Right? I just told you, young people don't like that. Really, it's not the fault of young people. It is human and natural. But if you give it a little bit of thought, you will say, of course, this is so true. Right? All kartavya are not done out of ichcha. You have to do it. All of us who live in United States of America, right? Can you say that, look, I was born, and those who were born in India, I was born and raised in India, and I used to have 1959 Ambassador, and I used to drive it on the left-hand side. So I will drive in USA also on the left. Right? Ichchaya krutam. This is what I desire. I did it in India for 20, all these years. Now I want to do it here. Can you say that in 60s, sometimes I would go and check in at the airport at the last minute, and I would run to the gate and I will get in. And now you are asking me 3 hours early international flight. Na ichcha. Do we not do that? Can you say, no, Gaurangbhai, I'm going to be late, start the class at 10:30 on Sunday? Now think of it. You go to office, if you're a doctor, surgery is set up, The nurses and others have to come at 6, set everything up. Anesthesiologist is there. The surgeon has to be there at 6:30. He can't say, unless it is very difficult, he has to be there at 6:30. Everything we do is what? Not because I feel like, no, you have to do it because it has to be done. Don't say you don't know it. In school zone, I drive at 15 or 20 miles an hour. Na ichchaya krutam, Bhagwan says. 5 types of karma. Please pay attention. This is very important because many of us hear it repeatedly, but we know not why and how I should offer. What is Ishwararpitam? We'll see next time. But Nitya karma, meaning every day that what you have to do. Every typical person, get children ready, make sure that they are at the bus stop before the bus will pick them up, school bus. If it is dark and if you don't feel safe, you want to stop and stand there. And the child says, Dad, I don't want you to be standing with me because my friends will see. Then you go and sit in your car or look from away, but make sure that your child is safe. You get ready, you have to go to work. All these we have to do. Brush your teeth, get everything that one has to do every day, including for you and I, meditation, doing japamala, reading scriptures. This falls under what? Nitya karma. Not ichcha krutam. Today I don't feel like sending my child to school. Better sleep. No. Child may want to do it, but daddy will say what? Nothing doing, no ichchaya krutam. Get ready. I will make sure. Otherwise, if you are late, I will drop you at the school. But you have to go to school. So nitya karma. Naimittika karma, occasionally certain things have to be done. Of course, sometimes we stretch it so much. The thing, and please don't feel bad. It's already 11:15. I just looked at the watch. But I hope I remember to start. What perplexes me, and this is where I want to start. It is not necessarily your duty, but so many of you, even at 70 and 75, try to help your children. Remember, when you came to this country, parents were 10,000 miles away and you did everything. You are making your children so weak. We'll look at it next time. Sorry, I wanted to cover this, but next time. Okay, next time we'll have a complete class. Okay. Now, friends, one thing, it's 11:15. I'll do it next time. Okay. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Harihi Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Harihi Om, Hari Om everyone.